Remember at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts? Sora's in a limbo-like shadowy area, standing on a cathedral-like object, in a stained glass showing a Disney princess in each of their movies. Usually, if you were to be defeated by the Heartless, you would just start over from the beginning of the fight. However, if you were defeated on top of the Snow White Cathedral and died exactly in the center of the apple she's holding, you won't be able to start before the battle. Instead, Sora responds in a different cathedral. First thing one notices about the area is the music. Instead of being the choir-like or happy as the music in the game often is, the music is nothing but odd static and sound of a single broken violin attempting to play a scratchy version of the Kingdom Hearts theme. The longer one stays in this area, the louder the music gets. And even trying to mute or turn down the television won't shut the music up. As for the stained glass floor, it is like the Snow White one, but the color of the glass is different and harsher. The scene is more frightening than the original. Instead of having Snow White eating an apple, she is dead at the bottom and holding the apple, blood leaking from her eyes, nose, and mouth, while the evil queen laughs in triumph, while holding a bloody heart. As you progress in this place, the other cathedrals have similar scenes. Beauty watches in horror as her father is devoured by the beast. Sleeping Beauty lies completely still, her face a daunting gray, hinting of some sort of decomposition, while King Philip is burned to death by the Dragon Maleficent. Cinderella is sold into slavery by her stepsisters. The scene basically shows what dark ending could have been put into the story. The detail in the pictures, especially the gruesome segments, is far more advanced than one would expect from a game of this time. The Heartless you face in this area are also different. Instead of being cute little shadows, they have yellow eyes with red irises, and they are taller than Sora, more slender, and have claws at the end of their hands. These creatures move insanely fast and often dispatched all but the most experienced players with ease. They are also difficult to see as they blend into the background. Most people are only able to see their eyes. The staff and the shield no longer work against these creatures, so only people with the sword are able to fight them. Most people who randomly stumble upon this often reset the game, thinking it's a glitch because they're unable to get further than the first cathedral. However, there are some who have made it to the further to the other cathedrals. The music gets louder, and strange whisperings can be heard beneath the noise in the violin. Finally, the player makes it to the last cathedral, in the area where Sora fights his shadow-like Heartless. He is different than you would usually fight. There's no heart-shaped hole in his chest, and his eyes are red with yellow irises, completely opposite from the other Heartlesses. The fight is rather short. The giant grabbed Sora, who begins to be wrapped up by the darkness. Also begins to enter his eyes, nose, ears, and mouth. Sora begins to scream while the violin begins to play louder, climbing with the whisperings and other strings, when it soon becomes a mess of just noise until the darkness overcomes Sora completely. Most of the noise abruptly stops, and the words "game over" flash continually on the string. Players who try to reset the game and start over find that every time they try to play that copy at all, the screen just shows the game over sign with the whispering in the background. The very few players who made it that far and also reported to hear whispering when they are alone in their rooms. And they have seen red eyes and yellow irises in the dark, distant places. Designers of the game deny ever making this section and saying that creatures, area, story, and music don't appear in the code. They claim it's a fabrication by people with sick sense of humor. However, there was one designer, Ken Koyatami, who was on the game only in the beginning stages when this level was being created, and left shortly after this section was finished. Because the fact he left so early, his role in the game was uncredited. He has made some calls to the Japanese police claiming that they were creatures following him with red eyes and yellow irises. The police dismissed his report as the ramblings of a lunatic and led him out of the police station. He was found dead the next morning, cut up with what appears to be with sharp nails. The neighbors in the apartment next to him claimed that they heard Anakin screaming about eyes and whispering when they called the police.